Italian Football Podcast.
I want to talk about the main man of the weekend, at least so far, at least as far as I'm concerned. An Argentinian Wonderkid, or I suppose we can't call him a Wonderkid, he's 21 years old. Nico Paz, in that game against Lazio, is, I mean, you talk about the perfect modern number 10. It was a show. It was the Nico Paz show from start to finish. He is, he's taken everything he did last season where we all fell in love with him, and he's built on that. Fabregas was quoted as saying he's worked twice as hard as he did in preseason as he's done before, and it really shows. It's the way that he combines his physical strength, his technique, his vision, his passing, his timing, his running. It's just absolute joy to watch. And then left-footed, un mancino with a left foot that scores free kicks like that, Argentinian. I mean, we love those in Serie A.
We do, yeah.
What do you make of? I mean, let me pose the question: is he the best 20-21-year-old in the world right now?
In the world, I'm not sure. I'd have to give it some thought as to who his possible rivals are. He's certainly the best at that age in Serie A, and it's certainly very refreshing. It's a breath of fresh air to see someone at that age performing at such a high level in Serie A. And we mentioned Kenan Yildiz before, and their contemporaries. I actually preferred the first goal to the second goal. In the first goal, he only got the assist, but he does that pirouette away, I think, from Nuno Tavares, and then he plays an inch-perfect through ball for Duvikas. The free kick is outstanding, don't get me wrong. It's perfectly over the wall. It's into the top corner, but that's a dead ball. This is him just toying with the defender. And yes, Nuno Tavares is very good going forward. He has some limitations defensively, but one thing that he is very quick. So to see Nico Paz just spin away the other way and then have all the time to play this perfect through ball was a joy to watch. And I think it would have been even more of a joy to watch him over 90 minutes. Again, I'm only speaking from having watched highlights, but the highlight reel on its own is just outrageous. And I think Como have done really well to keep him. And I think certainly what they said to him and his father, lest we forget the former international teammate of Javier Zanetti, Pablo Paz. I think what they've basically said to him is he's going to play week in, week out for Como. We're going to build the team around him. And he might end up playing European. He's already played in the Champions League, by the way. He scored against Napoli for Real Madrid in the Champions League. Yeah. I think they said, we want him to get us into Europe. We're going to build the team around him. And he's young enough whereby he can get that move, but he doesn't need to go to Inter now. And there's nothing stopping him from going to Inter in 3 or 4 years' time. And I think the problem with the Como project, and I don't think people have mentioned it enough, is they don't really have sources of revenue beyond the ownership. So I know they're building a new stadium. The new stadium isn't ready yet. So if Como do qualify for Europe, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, these are all if, buts, and maybes, then they are going to be hamstrung by financial sustainability, UEFA's mechanism, which followed financial fair play, which we've seen has had issues for Roma in terms of how many dealings. Then again, I don't want to pour too much cold water on this. I think we need to enjoy Como for what they are this season. I was a little bit reticent about everyone saying they can get into Europe on the basis that they finished in the top 10 last season and that they've invested heavily in the summer. But if Paz is able to perform like this on a weekly basis, then it's a frightening proposition.
Exactly that. My favorite goal yesterday was also the first one. The way, exactly, the pirouette, the movement, this kind of this poetry in motion, where you combine the vision, the timing, the touch, the physique, the strength, the speed. I mean, there's not that many players in the world that can do all of that at once, at any point of their careers, let alone at the age of soon 21. And to me, I mean, if the question is, is he the best under 21 player? No, that's Lamine Yamal. I think everyone in the world, some would argue Lamine Yamal is the best player full stop of any age, at any age. I mean, probably, I think most people would agree with that. But if we're talking just that age bracket 2021, I really wouldn't know who else it would be who is that ready already at this age. He looks the complete product, yet already now the ceiling, let me put it like this: the lowest level is so high, his lowest level looks so high that it feels the sky's the limit. And it's so impressive to watch what he is doing, and above all, what Fabregas has been able to do with him. It seems that Fabregas and him really, he's grown a lot under Fabregas, and we got to give some credit to Fabregas for that as well, even though he's very, very inexperienced too. But I'm just completely blown away. I mean, it's just, I think we might be talking here about someone who, I know that the MVP always goes to one of the players who wins the league, but just on performance week in, week out, if he continues playing at this level, I just don't see how he can not be the MVP, because he was just unstoppable against the Lazio.
I mean, Lautaro, Modric, De Bruyne, McTominay, they might all have something to say about that, to be honest. There's a lot of quality in the league, which is great. So Yildiz as well. I think there are star players at every team, which is fantastic to see. What I would say is he's already the reigning best under-23 player in Serie A. So he's already won that last season's first taste of Serie A with Como. So I think he's only going to get better as he gets more used to the league and the opposition teams. And Como continue to strengthen.
I mean, I don't... Absolutely. I just don't see him going to Inter or anyone else. I think he's a Real Madrid guy. I mean, it's given the structure of that deal, Real Madrid are not letting him go unless it's an obscene and exorbitant amount of money. And we know how Real Madrid are. I mean, this is Florentino Perez in a nutshell, isn't it? I mean, he hoovers up the jewels, the young jewels, and then builds a team of Galacticos that go out there and then dominate everyone for about a decade, and then he hits the reset button. But yeah, I mean, look, it's truly I'm just absolutely in love with Nico Paz. But talk a little bit about that point. I mean, Carlos said dark horse for Europe. I think that's a fair assessment. I think if he even said not dark horse for Europe, but dark horse for the top four, which I think is an interesting proposition. With a Nico Paz that plays like this, week in, week out, one game a week, Fabregas second year, what do you make of that? Do you think they can? I mean, would you agree that it's a dark horse to finish in top four?
I think they can finish in the top six. I don't see them finishing in the top four. I think you always need to work backwards when you do that, and you always need to work by process of elimination. So are they going to finish above Napoli? No. Are they going to finish above Inter? No. I know you'll probably turn your nose up at that because you're suggesting he was going to finish ninth and he's going to be sacked
God, don't stop
by October.
We'll the Neapolitan jinx nonsense.
Non è vero, ma ci credo.
Exactly.
So are they going to finish above Napoli? No. Are they going to finish above Inter? No. Are they going to finish above Milan? Probably not. Are they going to finish above Juventus? I don't think so. So already you've got four teams there. Are Italy going to get a fifth spot because of European performance? Maybe. It's always, I think apart from season one, when Italy had it, I think it's always going to be the Premier League plus one other. So Italy, Spain, and Germany are going to be fighting for that extra spot in the Champions League. So do they do a Bologna where they finish fifth and get in the Champions League that way? It's not beyond the realms of possibility. So on that basis, going with your definition, your loose definition of this wonderful dark horse notion, whereby I can just throw a random name out there, and if it sticks, then it's like, oh, I had them as dark horses. Well, put your money where your mouth is, Carlo. Are they going to finish in the top four, or are they not? I say they're not. If they finish in the top four, then it's another Retegui situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, but I mean, I think the dark horse thing is basically in a if everything comes together in this one, because football is also about moments, and if you have one of those perfect seasons, or if all the stars align, then can that happen? And I do kind of agree that I think that they can, but I think it's highly unlikely. I think, like you said, I also use the process of elimination. I think that means they have to finish above about a whole host of teams, which I think is going to be very difficult for them, regardless of how good Nico Paz is, and he is very, very good, at least when he's at his best. But yeah, I'm a little bit on the side there.